Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to talk about some interesting stuff that's happened ever since the State of Play. Now, as you guys probably know, PlayStation did have a somewhat mediocrely received, some good, some bad, State of Play that happened a few days ago. And we saw some pretty intriguing games coming out too as well, which kind of led to a lot of controversy. Well, one big one is Concord, and that was one of the more bigger games that's coming out a little bit later on throughout this year, and it's kind of like a mixture of like a Destiny, Overwatchy, intriguing vibe. But as well, we've also saw some other kind of cool games, or like Silent Hill and Astro Bot and all of that. But right now, people are kind of saying that they don't like it, that PlayStation has lost the mark. They lost their community, and they don't necessarily know how to kind of deal with everything as a whole. Like, they're kind of worried about how PlayStation's kind of handling stuff, what games they're canceling, what games they're focusing on, and all of that. So let's go talk about this, because it seems like people are a little bit more flustered and mad and upset and concerned about everything else that we probably expect. We're also probably live up on Twitch. If you guys want to follow, we have the Twitter down below, and of course, let's go dive on into it. So first and foremost, we saw a lot of feedback from the overall general gaming community, saying Concord might have the ugliest character designs I have ever seen. And people are kind of critiquing the game and calling it out and basically saying we lost some really cool games for this. Now, it's not always one-to-one how the gaming market works, where some games might have prior funding or maybe have like $100 million for like an experimental budget, or sometimes the budget's already proved as is and it's like a sunk cost fallacy. But we also lost other games such as like Twisted Metal, which I think a lot of people would have liked for a live service fun game, or kind of mixing things up a little bit from a beloved IP, or even things like The Last of Us multiplayer, which also, once again, Naughty Dog didn't really want to turn to a live service studio, but if they want to ever branch off or have like an additional $50 million of funding from Sony, they probably could pull it off. And it's kind of intriguing because people are not liking the idea of games like Concord. People are judging the gameplay, saying it was stale, and at the same time, people are upset about it. Or even like say this, or like the reaction. PS5 live streams are no longer speaking to the fans who built the brand. And one thing I always like about the Sammy person, Sammy is always, I think, on point in terms of what they kind of feel, they kind of understand. Saying that people don't really like this. People are like wanting to go and have brand new experimental IPs. They want to go and keep on embracing the fun games that are already made, and they don't want to keep on losing funding and losing games for games that might not be the best. Kind of, for lack of better terms, appealing to the wrong demographics, or not really appealing on the funness of a game, more so on how can they either make money or how can they go and service like, you know, these various bigger brands. Think like Marvel. And it's kind of rough to go and see, because it's been over 8 years since Sony's outstanding E3 2016 press conference, where it hired a full-blown orchestra and introduced the rebooted God of War to the world. And it's been 9 years since arguably the greatest gaming live stream in history, where the holy trifecta of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Shenmue 3, The Last Guardian were revealed back to back to back. And whatever you think of the final products, those were all iconic events. And then yesterday, this was 2 days ago as now, but anticipated State of Play was never going to rival those moments, because things have undoubtedly changed. But there's a growing sentiment that PlayStation is no longer speaking to the fans that built its brand with these broadcasts. The overwhelming reaction from both readers on PlayStation, or on Plus Square and other social media, is on the generals that the platform holder's latest live stream was middling at best, and it's not the first time where everyone's just disappointed. And we're seeing, once again, like hate on some of these games, like the Concord, saying the characters are ugly, unimaginative, lame. Or even if you look at like the YouTube trailers, which we'll cover in a second, how like Concord has had a massive amount of dislikes and everything is just rough. It's just stupid, it's rough, and people don't like it, it's lame, it's tame, and they're not going to want to play the game, or they think it's going to die instantaneously. And these are all very big valid points, because it's kind of how the gaming industry as a whole has kind of been shaping. A good example is Suicide Squad. That game, flop. Everyone knew? Flop. We saw the trailer? Flop. I saw it, called it out? Flop. Game itself? Flop. And it's like an intriguing idea and premise, but it's trying to go throw too many big picture objects at once, and they don't stick. Huge Marvel game. Okay, but I like Marvel, big Marvel universe, but the games have to be good. So where does the gameplay? Well, gameplay was okay at best. But does it have longevity, replayability? No. Are the characters cool and unique? Not really, no. They're iconic, yes, but they're not like fun. And that's where I think it leads to a lot of these big issues. Or a game like Concord. You go look at this, we saw the Reddit threads, that none of these characters like look cool. If I want to play a game, I want to feel cool. I want to look cool. I want to vibe cool. And people are like calling this out, saying this is rough. And they're like, hey, this reminds me of like Grenier and Warframe. And a lot of people are just saying like this is XCOM character generator on shuffle. This is the color palette I would unironically consider for a Death Guard or Papa Nurg's army. The visual language of the greens and blue screams dead decay. Needs to be a little more earthy. Like, people are calling this out with like proper, legitimate things. They're also saying I'm not too keen on the character design either, but they're tired of the Pixar toon looking stuff where people don't really know. Go piss yellow, moldy green. That's a huge hitbox. And like everyone's like dead on arrival flop. Releasing another live service hero shooter with ragtag characters and MCU banter. Daring today, aren't we? Saying we're just keep on replaying the same exact games over and over and over again. And that's why people are getting lame. Like, they think it's lame. They think these games are stupid. They're not going to buy them. And I will check out Concord on release. Like, I'm a variety streamer. I play every game. I like knowing so I can tell you guys what I like and dislike, because maybe some people care, so maybe some people don't. Whatever. But I like to know my own self to see what games I might like. I recently checked out Smite 2, and I enjoyed the game a lot more. And although people were a little bit on the apprehensive side, or even apprehensive on Smite 1, I've always had good ideas and good vibes. I play League of Legends, if you guys know me well, and I sat there thinking like, hey, this game has potential. And although it's still in early access or like this weird testing phase and they're going to add more over time, I was like, this seems cool. So I want to make that opinion so if people want to check it out in the future, more people can play the same game I'm playing that is fun. You know, that's how it should be. Or when Overwatch, when I thought it was fun, I'll be honest, I went against the grain and said, yeah, this is fun. Now, they changed a few things in Overwatch I haven't played in a while, but like, it's still that's how it should be. Like, you want to enjoy the game you're playing. You want to enjoy the experience. I was in a big Monster Hunter World re-kick too because it was fun. It was just fun to relive it and check it out and experience it. And I want you guys to have fun too. But that's the big thing that a lot of these PlayStation and big game devs are not noting is that their games aren't fun. They want to go for sales. They want to go for money. They want to go for profit. And they're not trying to make something fun that people want to play and remember 10 years, 15 years down the road. A lot of games nowadays, I'm not thinking about how I can't wait to replay them. Might be nostalgia, but I remember back in the day, there was games like Super Mario Sunshine. And I replayed through that game not too long ago, and it still had that charm and magical feeling, whether it's from the music or environment. A lot of times, I don't really like to replay through games nowadays because I got the experience. And the next upcoming one's going to be supposed to be better. Better graphics, better details, better story, better whatever. And that's what I think we're kind of getting missing. We're kind of getting lost in the plot. I want a fun game, not anything lame. But anyway, so people are not happy with this one. Like, you go through the Astro Bot trailer, and it got a 99% on the likes on YouTube. In Concord, the same game we're critiquing that a lot of people are saying this looks like the most generic garbage they've ever seen, got an 18%. That's horrible. If you guys know the YouTube meta, if your video has more than like, I'd say 30% dislikes, you either maybe kind of hit the wrong audience in the algo, because this has definitely happened to me a few times if I'm making a video on like say Xbox or something, or even a bad PlayStation take. And although I still think I'm right on that one, people disagree. That's how it should be. Like, I don't mind if people disagree or they think I'm wrong. I'm okay with that 100%, because that's how YouTube should be. But if you also have a video that turns to 18% likes, that means that no one likes the game. It's going to be flopped. It's going to be gone. People are critiquing it and they already know you're just appealing to the wrong audience. And it's really hard to appeal to the wrong audience when you have millions of users. And if you can't even find that audience within that, the game is dead on arrival. And this is crazy because these games have received vastly different fan reactions. And a lot of people like the idea of Astro Bot. Fits PlayStation, it's cutesy, it's nice, people would be excited to play it, pick it up, and Concord is mediocre. And that's why it's crazy, because if you look through all these likes too as well, like, it's just not good ratios. And although the cinematic trailer did go fair a little bit better, and it has 23% likes, people are just done with this. People are sitting here, they're disappointed on top of this, and people just want something new. And I think like the Astro Bot consists of over 80 levels spread across 6 galaxies, so they will be hoping it'll be a big game too as well, and just be overall more funding from a game that was already a win. And then Concord was announced last year, but no gameplay footage was shown, and after they showed that too, people were very concerned about what it might be. Like, we don't need to have another Valorant or Overwatch, we want something new. And I don't mind if they go and pop on that and expand on into it, but it didn't really seem like they were expanding onto the games themselves as a whole. You know, like, it just is really, really strange. And I agree. Like, I do think overall, people are kind of losing the spark. And they're saying, like, a lot of people are saying, like, these games are coming out soon, but it looks like PlayStation no longer seems interested even in, like, announcing future projects, probably because it makes sense from Wolverine, it's still in the works for it. But at the same time, people just want something fun to look forward to. But they also want something that's fun to play. And it's not that hard, I would say, at this day and age, because we've seen a lot of fun indie games that have blown up and done phenomenally well, because they focused on fun first, rather than anything else, really. And I do think that PlayStation's kind of lost the mark. They need to focus on that. They will need to focus on the marketing towards that. And yeah, they can maybe try to sell consoles or do deals and maybe have like 5 banger games, which I will still say is better than Xbox and even better than recent Nintendo. But maybe it's because my standards are so high already, and maybe because we're kind of like getting a little bit burnt out on these cinematic masterpieces and these Overwatch clone looter shooters, that I want something just a little bit different in my life. And I want something a little bit more fun. And I want something that's not just seeming like a corporate copy paste made in AI, because that's just not what I want at the end of the day. So I want to hear your thoughts, because it does seem like people are upset. Like, we're seeing this type of stuff. I've been seeing the tweets out here too, and a lot of people are just being like critiquing this too as well. Like, people are saying it's dead arrival. People are saying it's rough. No one needs this. The customer is always right. Maybe the games are ready to show. We get whine a lot, which is also true. But yeah, it's just kind of weird to see. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments on everything down below, whether you Twitter and Twitch them as well. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.